pull-ups are considered the most efficient exercise for the lat development. But what if I tell you that is simply not true? And to prove it, I'm not gonna use some scientific biased bullshit. We're just gonna watch some real-world examples and we'll try to analyze them. So if you have a closer look to guys who master pull-ups, like street lifters for example, they have pretty developed lats, not gonna lie, but do they have tremendous, huge lats? Not really. And who does? Powerlifters, strongmen, and just some huge guys who are stacking weights around. And frankly speaking, they are not usually like masters of pull-ups. I mean, there are exceptions like Konstantin Konstantinov performing 50 butterfly/kipping pull-ups. That's some freaking amazing feats of strength right there. Matter of fact, he did it without using straps. Can you imagine the grip strength? But again, as I said before, big guys are not usually fond of pull-ups, and usually they can perform more like 6-8 reps. So they kinda suck at them. So the question is, what did build their lats? And the answer is simple. Deadlifts. What? What are you talking about? Deadlifts? It is a leg exercise. And this is one of the most stupidest and pencil-like statements that you can ever imagine. I mean, I understand where this is coming from, that you're gonna use leg drive, like counterweights, leg pull, all this stuff, but it's not just about legs, it's also about your posterior chain, your abs and core in general, and your back. And talking about back is not just your spine erectors, and not just about your traps, it's also about your lats. And for people who really don't understand what's going on, like how can you engage your lats during deadlift, look at Juji performing deadlifts. I picked his footage because he's jacked, shredded, so you can see how he engages his lats during the lift. Recently, I saw a reel on the Instagram where a guy was tearing his lat, performing 200 kilo trap bar deadlift. And of course, there were a bunch of pencil necks on the comment section going nuts like, I still don't understand. Why do you have to lift that heavy? Like, my god. First of all, it's not that heavy. Like 200 kilo trap bar deadlift, like that heavy. Matter of fact, the guy was intended to perform 5x5 trap bar deadlift, so for him it was something like 70-75% one rep max, you know what I'm saying? So he still managed to tear his lat. And it doesn't sound right. And guys, I'm not agitating for you to do deadlifts so you can tear your lats. I'm just saying that the amount of force that your lats are dealing with when you perform heavy deadlifts is just crazy. And if you don't understand how it works, first of all, when you perform deadlift, you gotta do some kind of like pullover movement. You get a freaking bar closer to your body, to the center of mass. And second, lats are actually helping to get your back really tight and rigid and rock solid, so you're not gonna break it. And the logic behind this is simple, because lats are covering like, I don't know, like 80% of your back surface, so it really does make sense. But you might say, yeah, we got it. But there's no dynamics. There's no stretching, so how can you build muscles? Guys, who the freak told you that for building muscle size, you gotta stretch? I don't know where the stretch obsession is coming from, but it seems like it just doesn't work this way. Look at our wrestlers. Do they do full range of motion? Not really. Like, most of the guys can't even fully extend their arms. They perform like half quarter ROM exercises. And do they have like small arms? Like, look at Saginashvili and Siplinkov bicep muscles. And to stretch this stretch argument, you're just saying that you're gonna build bigger spine erectors performing Jefferson curls rather than doing deadlifts from the floor. And if I were doing splits, I would grow bigger adductors than if I were doing sumo deadlifts. I think it just doesn't make any sense. And all this stretch and obsession is just some kind of trend. And talking about dynamics, again, dynamics is not that important. How are you gonna grow biggest, thickest spine erectors, performing heavy deadlifts, like heavy squats? How are you gonna grow bulging obliques, performing heavy as freak, guess what, farmer walks? So to me, it's clearly that stretching and dynamics is not that important for building muscle size. And guys, it's not just about powerlifters and strongman. If we're talking about building muscle, we should look at bodybuilders. And we're talking about 90s and 2000 era, the biggest, the most dense, the most conditioned, just the best bodybuilders of all time. Like Ronnie Coleman, Kevin Levrone, Jay Cutler, Darren Yates, and yada yada yada. Did they have huge lats? Yes, they did. Did they perform pull-ups? Not really. Pull-ups back in the days was considered as some sort of like finisher or something. They never mastered it. So what did they do then? Deadlifts, bent over rows, T-bar rows, dumbbell rows. You feeling me? Okay, so do we have the opposite example? I can come up only with one example, Andrei Smaev, but he built his huge lat not just by doing heavy pull-ups, but also performing heavy deadlifts and rows and some sort of like horse cockery with iron. So saying he's got them developed lats by just doing heavy pull-ups is just incorrect. And guys, I'm not saying that pull-ups is a shitty exercise. Of course, it's tier S exercise, no matter what like scientifically based geeks and nerds gonna say, so it's not optimal, all this kind of bullshit. But it seems like a little bit overrated, and deadlifts are just simply more freaking crucial for your back development. That's it. So you want a thick and wide back? Perform heavy deadlifts. I think enough said. So subscribe to this channel, blah 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 blah, yada yada yada, and I don't know, just get the fuck out of here.